Wir sprechen darüber, wie Banken, Versicherer, Fintechs, Insurtechs und Corporates durch branchenübergreifende Kooperationen echte, datengetriebene Ökosysteme entwickeln. Von der Regulatorik über die Technologie zum Kunden. News, Insights und Real Talk. Digital, vernetzt und ehrlich. 3x3 = 10. Dein Podcast über eine datengetriebene Finanzwelt. Mit deinen Hosts Julian Prüfer und Marvin Fortkamp. Finpex bringt frischen Wind in KYC und KYB. Schluss mit nächtelangen Dokumentenwälzen und Copy-Paste-Marathons. KI liest Handelsregister, analysiert Beteiligungsstrukturen und liefert belastbare Evidenz auf Knopfdruck. Das heißt weniger manuelle Arbeit, vollständige Compliance-Daten und schnellere Onboardings. Und ja, auch beim Thema Geldwäsche schauen wir ganz genau hin. Für Banken und Fintechs, die Compliance nicht nur abhaken, sondern smart lösen wollen. Finpex, damit KYC endlich so digital wird wie der Rest des Bankings.
Hello from Hamburg. We have another episode of 3x3 = 10. Again, a special one. We always telling the people we have special podcast because it is a special podcast by itself. But today is really special. You might recognize people that we are talking in English. We have a very wonderful guest. First of all, hello to my co-host Julian.
Moin. Hello.
And more than welcome, Esmond Berkhout von Vivid. Hello from our side. How are you doing?
Hi guys, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great that you're here.
Yeah, super great. Nice to having you. We're starting our podcast always to avoid some work for us hosts, to give the word to the guest. So maybe you might introduce yourself, tell us who you are, where you are, and what you are working on at the moment.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So I can tell a long story about where I'm born, etc., but I will skip the boring part. So my name is Esmond, as you already mentioned. I am the CEO of Vivid Money BV, and the BV is part of the bigger Vivid Money group. So within that group, I'm responsible for the investments and crypto offering, and I've been doing that for the past 4 years. And before that, I've been working in the financial sector my entire career. So I've been CEO of the Giro before it was taken over and merged into Flatex de Giro, probably well known in Germany, and some other corporate organizations as well. So since 4 years with Vivid and having a lot of fun. So not trying to bring across the happiness to you guys.
Great. But maybe for the listeners who might not know Vivid yet, how would you describe Vivid and what are you doing?
Yeah, great question, of course, to start with. Vivid Money is what we call a super app on the financial sector, that is. So people traditionally know banks, bank accounts. The last 10, 15 years, people got those plastic cards, etc. But the world has evolved, and Vivid has been building a financial platform to support people in their financial businesses. So about 6-7 years ago, they started in Berlin, founded by Artem Yamanov and Alexander Yemeshev. And we focused on retail first, but the last couple of years, we pivoted to supporting small and medium businesses. So in Germany, but also France, Italy, Spain, across Europe. And basically, what sets us apart, if people would ask me, okay, what are the things that where I need to go to Vivid for? First of all, as a business, of course, we have the possibility to open up multiple accounts where you can separate your tax from your daily business, etc. We have high yield on interest. We offer investing, and we also, and this is of course what fintechs are for, we have a lot of automation for businesses. So a lot of integrations with .dev, with Safdesk. We have 1-second payouts, etc., etc. So a lot of fun stuff for businesses to use Vivid for.
You already mentioned that the industry, the fintech and business banking market industry is very crowded. And I mentioned in our prior dialogue before that I'm founder by myself. And could you line out how you would position Vivid in the fintech industry market? And as a founder and as a person, I like to make decisions very quickly, and I don't want to do a lot of research while choosing my bank account. So why should I pick Vivid in the first 2 minutes without comparing to 10 other providers?
Oh wow!
Wow.
This is the sales pitch moment, right? So first of all, it's very good that you want to find us, but we also need to find you. So it always is a two-way street.
sure.
And in the same pre-dialogue, you also mentioned receiving a letter from Vivid, which is one of the ways we target our target audience, if you like to call it like that. The problem there is that we are, of course, depending on public data. So as soon as you register in the commercial register, that's the moment when stuff becomes visible to us, and only then we can start sending you letters or emails or whatever. Probably prior to that, you already opened an account. So we try to be where our modern users are: social media, Instagram. I don't know. We talked to X yesterday to be able to use their platform, maybe. So it's those type of things where we need to meet up. So it's more part of a social environment and no longer a bank versus client relationship. But I think the big challenge for you guys, and we'll touch upon that probably in our conversation way more, is that if you're a founder, you have only so much money available, and that money needs to last as long as possible. And if you are with the bank, with Sparkas or other competitors, you might get no interest, small interest, or you need to lock your money away. And with Vivid, we provide you with up to 5% interest for the first few months, and afterwards 2% up to your, depending on your plan. And we always have instant second liquidity, so you can take it out every time, no lockups, no freezes, no nothing. So short pitch, but this is why you need to be with us.
That's super interesting because you always already mentioned that I received a letter, and what really pointed out was like getting interest on a current account. Is it really like an USP of your company who differentiates you from other competitors? Because actually that's a very good point, because as you mentioned, I would like to make the most of my money as a founder in combination with, for sure, small fee basis accounts. Yeah.
So it's a combination of two things. So Vivid offers all the stuff that also other companies offer and other banks offer. So we have a payment account, we have cards, we have cashbacks, those sort of things. So you first need to open an account on that one, and then you can select your subscription if you want, even for free. The next step is getting that interest account, which is just 2 clicks. And you can send your money in and your money out. So you cannot do payments from that interest account. So it's not a current account as such that you can use it for your daily routines. But if you need it, you can simply tap, take it out, and instantaneously use it for payments on your regular payment account. So that is absolutely a USP. If you look at our competitors, for instance, they might have similar or maybe even higher interest rates, but they also have lower caps to which you increase to which you earn the interest, I must say. So for us, it's up to 1 million. So I'm not sure how much money you have available, Marvin, but if you can put a million on your, but if you could put 1 million on your interest account, you would get 4 or maybe even 5% on your deposit there for the first few months.
Cool. Interesting. And you recently mentioned the interest on the balance, but a few days ago, or maybe a week ago, there was in the press that you have this not only in euros, also in dollars and pounds. So what's the idea behind this feature?
What we're trying to achieve as Vivid is always trying to solve real life problems. So not from the bank's perspective, but from the user's perspective. And what we learned from our customer base and from a lot of people that are looking for accounts is that more and more startups are getting, for instance, funding rounds in USD. So it's not European venture capitalists providing money, but it's US ones. More and more companies, German companies, European companies, they do business internationally. So you don't only pay in euros, but you also pay in USDs. Vivid Money already offered a USD account and a GBP account for payment purposes, but we didn't have a product which, as I described in the previous question, generates interest on the deposit as well. So what you see, and I don't think that many people are aware of that one, but if you receive USD and you convert them into euros, and then later on you need to pay a USD invoice again, and you need to convert it back again, those conversion costs might seem small, but if you do that 50 times a year, it will add up to quite substantial amounts, right? And that's why we basically said, hey, we need to solve that problem. So US dollar comes into the payment account at Vivid Money. A customer can send the US dollar directly onwards to his US dollar interest account and get as much as 5% interest on that one. So the same principle as with the euro interest account, extending your runway, making your money work for you in a very simple, easy approach, is now available in USD and GBP as well. And as you mentioned, it was just 2 weeks ago. And we see a good traction there. There's quite a lot of SMBs already using the product and sending money there. And it's even as easy because you can also, if you don't have a account with Vivid Money, say in USD yet, you can still send your money from your Deutsche Bank account directly to your USD interest account via SWIFT, one of the payment methods. So we try to, and this is one of the core strengths, I think, of Vivid. We always try to solve problems that users actually face. So they approach us, they tell us, hey, guys, this is what I'm trying to work around. And then if we can help them, we do. And this is our latest addition to it.
Very interesting. What you're describing is kind of a multi-currency cash management. And you already mentioned out for which companies is interesting, especially for startups or general growing companies who are operating international. In our first 10 minutes, it is very nice. I recognized that you never talked about Vivid as a bank. You always we're talking about a financial platform instead, which is totally fine. I think the right way to target customers. When it comes to the multi-currency cash management, and we are thinking about ecosystems or platform management, is it just the first step into a new feature, something like treasury management, or how you are seeing this first step?
It is for sure a step into something bigger. So the interest account that we just discussed is one feature we offer in the wider offering. But if you look at it, how shall I put it? Historically, the tools that we now have available traditionally only were available for large corporations. If you needed 100 people team to be able to invest money, to find the right interest, to find the right counterparty, find the right FX. I think a decade ago, 15 years ago, companies like DEGIRO and TradeGate, they started democratizing, as they call it, investments for retail customers. I've been fortunate enough to be part of that journey as well in my previous role. And I think that's exactly what Vivid is now doing for SMBs, trying to democratize treasury management, if you would like to call it like that. So it's for sure part of a bigger treasury management tool. And if you allow me that, next to the interest account, we also offer model portfolios where we basically help you structure your portfolio if you don't want to invest the time yourself in thinking about how to do it. And we also have a full set of treasury management available where you can just select your own instruments, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, whether it's ETFs, or all those instruments available for retail users as well.
Interesting. In my mind, so it's corporate banking has been around for decades. So it's whatever. You mentioned Deutsche Bank, Sparkasse, Volksbanken, whatever in Germany. But how do you think about this? Fintechs and neobanks always bring innovation. And now we are not talking about a bank, we're talking about a financial platform, something like that. What's in your mind if you think a few years in the future? How should be business banking look like? Is it just a bank? Is it a platform? What is it? What will it be?
I don't have a glass ball to be able to predict what it will be, but
if you might have a vision as a CEO,
of course, I'm more than happy to share that one. No, but if you look at the history, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? So the organizations that you mentioned, they were based on local physical presence. So they had offices, they have a lot of people, and they built their technology back in the 70s, 80s. And at a certain point in time, you become so big that it's difficult to touch that technology. So it sort of gets in the way. And that's why those big organizations are not that agile anymore. So you cannot move. Then comes the new companies like Vivid, the financial platforms. And don't get me wrong, we cannot just start a company like a bakery or whatever. We need official licenses. We need to go through processes. We're quite strictly regulated. But because we start from a different perspective, we are tech only. We don't have offices. We start with user problems. So we basically try to ease the way that our users use the modern banking. That's already a light year step, right? And then moving on to where we currently stand. So we're now talking about our offering to small and medium businesses. And I think we already moved quite well ahead, but there is so much more to come. If you look at the speed in which artificial intelligence is being integrated into financial platforms, same applies to us. If you look at integration, so now we are a financial platform where you can find all your solutions for financial challenges, so to speak. Next step will be that we basically just integrate into your own systems. You might have a CRM in your company. You might have a financial administration. Or no, you must have a financial administration within your company. And basically, we will just integrate directly into your system. And with AI, with all sorts of assistants that we already have available. If you go check out our website, you will see a financial assistant AI. You will see a legal AI assistant. You will see a management assistant. Those things will just, without you having to interact, automatically optimize your processes, prepare invoices for payment, generate your bookkeeping entries, all those type of things. So instead of standalone solutions, the financial platform will just be part of your organization. And I think that is not even as distant as we might think. Maybe 2-3 years from now, that will be already the case.
You mentioned a very interesting point, which is the focus on user problems. And I think, with all the respect to business and retail banking, people always say, Julian, I remember you because you used to work in business banking. And these are two different fields, retail and business banking. But in the end, it's super important to focus on what is the problem of the client or the user. And I think these problems changed over the years in the way we use technology in our daily life as a private person or as a business person. And in the past, the main problems have been, Esmond, we figured out that I lived close to the border in Enschede, and in my branch, I know my former supervisor in the Sparkassen branch. He told about how business was made in the past, especially when it was international between the Netherlands and Germany. The main problem was to change currencies, to get assignments for international contracts and partnerships between banks or between companies in Germany and in the Netherlands. And I think now with the rising technology, the problems are shifted in a different way. because the development and the race of companies is going much faster than before. What do you think are the nowadays main problems users, especially business people, have?
I'm not sure. In the beginning, we mentioned that you opened a bank account for your own company. In many cases, that is still a huge problem, right? So the amount of financial providers, service providers that provide for bank accounts for SMEs, that's already a challenge. Second one, cost for the product might be a challenge. And don't get me wrong, Vivid is also, we're not offering our service for free because we also need to make money. But compared to the example that you just provided about your former supervisor, there is a light year between then and now. One of the big problems, and that's why we started the podcast to begin with, and you already mentioned the currency conversions, because of the internalization of the business. People need to have access to GBP, to USD, maybe to, I don't know, Indian rupees, whatever is out there. And you also see cryptocurrencies taking a role in the payment ecosystem. Also something that we are looking at, because the old payment systems might not be as quick as we nowadays expect. Nobody wants to wait 2 to 3 days for their money if you're used to have your money available at a click. So especially that currency conversion thing is still within the Eurozone, all fine. You can send your money to Italy, to France, whatever. There's also still some problems, to be honest. If I can touch upon that quickly, is that people need local bank accounts. If we as a German or Dutch financial service provider provide a German bank account to a French customer, that simply doesn't work because they cannot pay the utility bills because it's not accepted in France. Same applies in Italy and Spain. So that's a solution that we also provide. We provide you with local IBANs so that you can at least pay your local taxes and your social securities and stuff like that. But again, getting back to those currency conversions, that is, it's a cost driver. It's cumbersome. People don't know how to deal with it, and that's why we again come up with a solution like ours. And now, like I mentioned before, USD and GBP. If we find ways to expand that. And whether that might be Indian rupees, like I said before, or maybe some South American currencies, we'll for sure do it. Because if there's a need for it, people will approach us and we'll find a solution for it.
I have my thought, it's like we are not talking about a business bank account. It's a standalone product. So it's integrated in, or it becomes a part of the financial operating system of the customer. So I think it's like there are coming more problems, so customer problems in the future. Maybe you can give us some insights if there are some problems you already detected and you are working on. Maybe in connection to the currency management.
By coincidence, we have done a webinar on Monday for small and medium businesses. And the webinar was about how to manage your liquidity, because what we see happening is, and be aware, in Germany alone, I think last year, there were 24,000 bankruptcies. And one of the things, and I'm not saying that Vivid or our treasury solution could have prevented all of them, because sometimes it's just not something that works like that. But what we do see is that many companies that have excess cash, surplus cash, they just don't know how to utilize it. They put it on a bank account, like I said before, as the standalone product. And this is where we have the interest account to support people, or the model portfolios. So we are already sort of supporting those companies and explaining to them also verbally, guys, you need to start thinking about how to make treasury not a sort of side product to your company. It's basically becoming part of the fundament or the core of your organization. Because if that can make money for you, life becomes easier. So that's one step. So, and that is not only related to GBP or USD, but just managing your business in general. People live from invoice to invoice. We try to help them to sort of look beyond that and plan and organize stuff better. And the same thing we have done already for card spends, payments of invoices, like we just mentioned, liquidity management, the currency conversions, investments, financing. So we also offer pre-approved small loans. So not big loans if you need to buy an airplane or whatever, but if you are at the end of the month, you have a bit of a shortage that you need to bridge, we already have that available as well. So back again, we try to think about the user's problems and not only that single bank account that you used to have when you were born and your parents opened a bank account at Sparkasse and you remained with Sparkasse for the rest of your life. We actually try to, we're entrepreneurs ourselves. So we try to think like an entrepreneur. We try to understand the problems they face and support them. And in all those topics that I mentioned just now, we have found solutions to help them there.
One question I have in my mind while you were talking about the difference and the challenges of connecting people, businesses, and currencies through Europe. How do you see the project of the digital euro in this case?
Well, it's a very good question. It's a bit beyond my my Vivid role, but I think it's especially if you look at the current geopolitical situation, right, with the US not being a partner to the Eurozone anymore as it used to be. Having the USD as a main dominant currency, I think that there's a risk. If you don't take the euro, having a digital euro in that sense does make sense, right? We're moving into the next era. People are becoming more and more accustomed to crypto or blockchain like integrations. So we moved from the tangible coin. You probably, I'm not sure how old you guys are, but I for sure was paying with guilders, 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents. We moved into the plastic cards. Now everything is online. How much money do you carry around nowadays if you go on holiday or whatever? I think digital euro is just a very logical next step in that one. But it's not as easy, and that's why it's taking so long as well, because you need to align all those international organizations, and it's a huge project. But I think it's important for Europe as a whole.
Well, Marvin, that was a surprising question. I really didn't thought that we were connected to the digital euro, but good question.
I mean,
yeah.
am I wrong? I'm just like I'm not an expert in the digital euro, and I'm not an expert in multi-currency cash and liquid management. But my question is, like, to be honest, I'm not really seeing the value of a digital euro. No one really could explain me and convince me to, okay, why do we need that? And as you mentioned, all the user problems you have in corporate banking around in Europe, I was like, would a digital euro at least solve these problems a little bit, or would like your cash management tool would benefit for a currency which is accepted in different countries in Europe?
I don't think it really adds value to solutions for problems right now. What it does, it increases the safety of the whole payment ecosystem. That's sort of the idea. Currently, it's quite difficult to establish how much money is floating around, how much people still have laying around in old socks, etc., etc. If you have digital currency based on a blockchain ledger, every transfer of a coin or a euro to another person is registered, right? So it sounds a bit scary because probably people will say, hey, the tax authority is also looking over your shoulder. That might be true. But I think from those type of perspectives, from a government perspective and a governance perspective, I think having something that is traceable, that is safe, secure, backed by European institutions, that just adds value, because in the end of the day, money, as we all know it, is just based on trust. It's 1,000 years ago, we traded a pig for a bread or maybe some fish, but now money is, and like I said, you need to have trust. And I think if European institutions manage to maintain that trust that we currently have in the euro, or increase it even, that's only for the benefit of all Europeans. But bit off topic, but I think
it's a little bit off topic, but it brings me to another question. To be honest, if we are just imagine all the trends we now have in fintech and banking and whatever. What is one trend in fintech or you personally most excited about right now?
I touched upon it briefly already. I see the integration and adoption of AI is adding so much value to a lot of propositions. It's still in, how do you call it, childhood environment. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but it's not a mature offering yet. We are, like I said, tested, and we have also launched a couple of products on that one. But if you see the speed with which companies can now offer solutions, develop new products, marketing is completely tailor-made for you because of all the social media and all the stuff that's available on a personal level. So for me, AI is but this is sort of a I think most people will provide that answer to you. Bit out of the box. What I see as a possible use case also for that one, and that's something that especially for international businesses is still a challenge, is taxation. Right. And so what a lot of people forget is that if Marvin sends an invoice for 10,000 euros to a customer and he gets the 10,000 euros, you think, yeah, you're rich. But at the same time, you still need to pay 3,000 euros in taxes over that, right? So, and you probably know your way around in Germany. So let's assume that as soon as that money hits your account, it's automatically set apart. This money needs to be reserved for tax payment. You can do that with VAT, but maybe you do cross-border. So you might have something for France, or you might have something for overseas, and that's currently still a big challenge because the tax regulations are so complex that it's quite hard to absorb all those issues into a solution right now. And with the help of AI, and that's why I'm so excited about AI as well, is that this can actually, again, solve a real problem for a small and medium business. Determining how much tax you owe, automatically setting it aside, making reservations, supporting you. And nowadays, people still only become aware how much money they need to pay when their accountant tells them. And basically, it should already be real-time visible. Those type of product enhancements, if you would like to call it, speeding up the process, becoming more and more aware, or, I don't know, predicting your liquidity. Okay, Julian, your bank account will hit zero in 12 days from now with your current spending. Do you need? Yeah, but those type of things. There's so much stuff you can think about that where we can help people in understanding their financial situation much better. And that's for retail. That is, people were retail has been way quicker in developing those solutions because the market is big until very recently only. And that's also why we started helping small and medium businesses. That the small and medium business services were still in the Stone Age. So we are bridging that gap and hopefully bringing it to the next step.
Unfortunately, just in a business bank account. So sometimes as a private person, I would say, well, I would love to have something that can support me with my tax, with my all these things, or maybe this push notification if your wife is still ordering a lot, so your bank account balance will be. So it's like something like this, suggestions or scenarios or whatever I can I can build on my own. So that would be great. Yeah.
The the systems and concepts we were talking about now, and we were talking about during this podcast in different kind of episodes. You have different names for it, like ecosystems, platforms, integration of non-near, beyond banking. There are several names for it. In the end, it's about like solving customer problems which are not directly connected to banking, but maybe indirectly. For example, taxes. But these concepts are, to be honest, not super new. We are talking about these concepts since ages or decades. What do you think? Who's gonna win the race for the customer in the future? You introduced yourself or Vivid in with building a super application. And when I think of super app, I always think about WeChat in China or stuff like that, which is basically a non-banking branch who adopted banking service in their ecosystems. But you trying it, which is a very good way, and I would love to see more of these actions in all traditional banks. We tried to convince Sparkassen to go in this area as well, but that's another story. So my question is, what do you think? Who is going to win the race for the customer?
Oh, it's a tough question, Marvin. I think it is that organization, and I think Julian already provided a good sort of lead to that one. It's the financial service provider that comes closest to people or companies' heart, right? So you really have to support them, maybe even without them knowing, in solving those annoying problems. And you mentioned them, and we touched upon a couple of those in taxation. Yes, that's it's an old topic. But how often do you forget to pay an invoice? How often does it happen? I don't know, that a payment is blocked for whatever reason. So those type of things might be useful, but if I would know the exact answer to this problem, first of all, I would maybe not give away the secret sauce. Second of all, I would also already be implementing it, because it just means you're a step ahead of the competitors, right? So it's the I think the answer everybody tries to find, and everybody is working really hard into the same direction and the solution. From my perspective, I can only say that if we as a financial institution, and especially for me as an investment organization or a crypto organization, if we can be your CFO that prevents a mistake before it happens, I'm already happy. And that can be on any area, right? So misorders, mispayments, all those type of things. But it's an impossible question to answer, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a tough question. Maybe it's not a competition. Maybe it's a race. So it's sometimes the pole position is switching. But
or in the end, it's cooperation to share the customers, focusing on. Yeah.
It's a fair point, right? So and this is where we are all in the same boat. We need legislators, we need regulators, we need clients, we need the companies to work together. In that sense, that I think we've been talking quite extensively in the past as well on if you onboard to one bank, why do you need to onboard to each individual other bank every time again? Why can it just be once? Why can we not reuse the data? The same thing applies for if you want to, or your wife, Julian, as you mentioned, want to buy something on one of the many fashion stores online. Why is that not integrated into one platform? Why do I need to log into A or to B every time again? Why do we have 50,000 different apps? And so why can we not build a ecosystem where everything is integrated into one? I'm not sure if that's the future, because that might be too overwhelming. But further collaborations, further integrations, yes, for sure, those will happen. But it needs a bit of cooperation by everybody. It's not just something that Vivid standalone can organize. We're trying to do our best, and like I said, we're close to our business customers and our retail customers. We try to discuss stuff with regulators as well, but yeah, some things just take time for to change, and that's something we have to deal with.
Unfortunately, I have to play the timekeeper.
Very good.
Unfortunately, no, but it's a really good chat. But before we wrap up, let's do a quick round. It's like for me, my big takeaway from this chat, I would say we are not always talking about the bank or neobank or how you call it. We are always talking about the financial platform. It's like where on this financial platform you can solve customer problems, I would say, and you can integrate other partners and services. You can use AI that supports you in maybe stuff you don't like tax or legal or whatever you mentioned. And I really think it's a really good point to start to the future in my mind, because in a lot of chats we have on this podcast or on other rounds, and it's like always we need to look into take this view in the future, and the problems you need to solve, they will come in as quick as possible, I would say, and you always need to be able to solve these problems. And I think you have a really good start or a point to start and help the people or the customers to do this. And even if you have now a currency or multi-currency liquidity management, it's really cool. So I hope, Marvin, maybe you need sometimes to pay an invoice in US dollars or pounds. Maybe we will see. It's great.
Hopefully 10,000 euros. I'm gonna give you guys a call then.
For sure. We're there, Marvin. We're there.
Marvin, to be honest, what's on your thoughts? So what's your takeaway?
My core takeaway is that I should have doing a little bit more research before I opened a business account.
Not too late. It's not too late.
It's not too late.
You're not saying what kind of or what bank account do you have?
I'm not gonna say that now. We can do it after the record. I would like to give you, Esmond, the last words. What would you like to outline to wrap up? What is Vivid standing for, and how do you see the future of the company?
Yeah. So I think, Julian, thanks for summarizing a bit of the stuff that we discussed about. There's one important thing that I forgot, and that's also something I would like to start with in wrapping up, is that we often get questions also about the safety of our organization or financial platforms in general, right? So people know banks, they have protection up to 100,000 euros using deposit guarantee scheme, and financial platforms usually don't have that. And that's why people sometimes think that organizations like ours are less safe. And I just want to stress that that's absolutely not true. And so we're also part of European regulations, and your funds are safeguarded separately, especially in the product that we offer and the interest accounts and treasury. The money is invested, so it's completely separated from us. So I just wanted to stress that if people have any doubts on that one, we're as safe as your old-fashioned bank, and maybe even safer from that perspective. But if I circle back to what I wanted to bring across in the podcast, and partially succeeded, maybe partially not, but in this wrap up I can do it a bit more, is that people need to be aware that we are in a new reality right now, right? So we have changing geopolitical situations. We have, like I mentioned, funding coming from different directions. The cost of living are increasing. So people need to be aware that they need to adapt their financial infrastructure. And one of the things that Vivid is supporting there to help them have a clear advantage. Like I explained, Vivid is building all those new tools, trying to support startups, small and medium enterprises, to remain in control in that ever-changing environment, because running a business, Marvin, is not easy. And also want to emphasize that Vivid is not here just for the short term. As we're trying to support our users to long-term value, sustainable returns. It's not about quick yield, quick money. It's about helping you truly make your money work for you in a better way than others can. And we do so also with higher caps which I explained. So across the podcast, we went through many products. So on the banking side, on the invest side, but I think in general, that is sort of the message that I want to convey from Vivid, is that we are a company that supports the small and medium enterprises in all its endeavors. And if there's a problem that you think we're not solving right now, you can let us know, and we'll try to adapt to that as quickly as possible.
Esmond, thanks a lot for the conversation and the chat, the insights, and your thinking about that banking financial platform for business banking. And it's really interesting to see how maybe even towards it's a full financial operating system, I would say, for business banking.
Next step.
Cool.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thanks again for joining us. And let's see. If you have any questions to Esmond or Vivid, I just say just chat to him, maybe on LinkedIn or with the contact thing on Vivid. Let us know what you're thinking about, and thank you very much for joining us. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.